Hi friends, good evening. Welcome everyone for today's session on comparability analysis, chapter B2 of UNTP manual. So going ahead with the series of our sessions on the revised UNTP model which is being proposed. So why directly chapter B2? Because chapter A will get approved in 21st session. So they have only concluded 20th session. This will A and B1 will get approved only in 21st. Hence, we are directly resorting to chapter B2. Before starting, I would like to acknowledge the efforts of Vigneshwar for getting this presentation done. Legends used pretty similar to what we have seen before in our earlier sessions. Presentation schema, comparability analysis and overview, challenges in applying comparability analysis application, issues in finding comparables locally, identification of potentially comparable transactions or company, source of information for external comparables, the twin approaches for identifying potential comparables, and lastly, the practical guidelines for cases when there are no sufficient comparables. Let's get started for rational. Why comparability analysis is important? Again, comparability analysis in a TP report comprises of two parts. One is the economic analysis and the FAR analysis, that is the functions, asset, and risk analysis, friends. FAR analysis involves understanding of respective roles and responsibilities. So, for a particular transaction, say an Indian company is having a transaction with a US subsidiary, for that particular transaction, what are the functions employed or as functions performed or assets employed or risk undertaken by both the entities. Again, economic analysis like the justification, how we have the actual justification of the transaction, why we are saying it is at arm's length. So both becomes paramount or both are part of a comparability analysis, because this both comprises of around 70 to 75% of your TP documentation, and the core part in terms of importance. If you say, if you are through with these two, the entire TP report is done. So that's why comparability analysis in these two aspects becomes important. What are the various challenges? Many times what happens, there would be no functional comparability between the tested party and the independent enterprise, though it passes through all the quantitative filters. Hence, it is required. So, quantitative filters, when we are saying we are using databases, or we have like here, more or less, the entire session would be focusing more on the usage of database. So, at times, even though we say our party, that is, say Indian party, if we are using the database and we have found comparables, we would get, after applying all the quantitative filters, we would get some set of company, but though there they may not be as is comparable as what we are or our company is doing. So that's what, in such a scenario, it is important to use qualitative analysis, and to so once the quantitative and filters are being used, we have to apply a qualitative filter and then confirm. So qualitative filter meaning like you have to go and check that the company's website, the annual reports, and understand what exactly the functions carried out by our comparable companies or the proposed comparable companies, and the company for which we are doing the transfer pricing study. So if that is possible, I mean, after that, if we are left with few companies, then financial analysis needs to be done for those particular companies. In scenarios wherein like comparability analysis is not possible, wherein like say we have used cup method and there is no comparability possible, again when we have used TNMM, we are not in a position to justify the method through the comparability analysis. In such a scenario, any other method is used. Usage of any other method we'll see later, friends, as to under what circumstances and under which scenarios any other method is being used. Application of comparability analysis. Comparable company need not be identical with the tested party. However, there should not be any differences between them that could materially affect the ALP or profit. So, friends, um, there won't be any transaction, or there won't be any company which would be like 100% identical or similar to our company. That's where we need to do some adjustments, some certain reliable adjustments to ensure that the price or the companies which we are taking is comparable in true sense. So those reliable adjustments are fine. However, a note that we should not do adjustments in such a manner that our entire analysis is only adjustments and we are like the original price is like only for the namesake. So there can be certain reliable adjustments, but the analysis should not comprises only of adjustments. So that one thing we need to, so if there are more adjustments required, then that kind of comparability analysis would not be sufficient or would not be correct for the purpose of transfer pricing study. Then comes what are the various issues, friends, in using or issues in finding comparables locally. So it is not easier, friends, to get the exact comparables for our company or for our transaction. And what are the various issues? First is developing countries, tax authorities lack of access to existing sources such as existing non-local company databases. Second, again, lack of reliable local country comparables. For each of these, there are problems associated with both administration and problems associated with double tax dispute avoidance. In this regard, again, farm analysis and industry analysis are paramount. So, in case there are concerns in finding comparables locally, it is mandatory to do a complete industry analysis as well as farm analysis, which will give us an idea as to where or what type of comparables are required for the purpose of doing a transfer pricing study. Where such comparables operating in the same jurisdiction as the status party are available, there is no need to consider whether geographic difference, so geographic difference or geographical adjustments are not required when your company as well as the comparables are operating in the same jurisdiction. However, in the absence of such information, foreign comparables should not be automatically rejected as all transfer pricing cases require a solution. So, foreign comparables generally are not accepted, friends, at the time of assessment. But if we are not in a position to find the comparables locally after trying all our means, for a transaction, say our companies are having a transaction with a US subsidiary, it is appropriate if through any means if you are getting some comparables which are foreign comparables, yes, this would be acceptable if no other options are available. Identification of potential comparable transactions or company, friends. So how potential comparable can be found out? There are two types of comparables. One are internal comparables and external comparables. Internal comparables, generally internal comparable means, say you are yours is a company which is having a transaction again with the US subsidiary. So internal comparable would mean that either your company is having similar type of transaction with unrelated independent third party, or your foreign entity is having similar unrelated third transaction with unrelated third party. So where either of the parties of transaction are involved in third party transactions which are independent, which are not controlled, then those comparables would be internal comparables. External comparables, again, where neither your company or the foreign company are party. So in such a scenario, that comparables, if you are getting those type of comparables, that would be regarded as external comparables. Under external comparable, the first type relates to transactions between two independent parties, as I said, neither of which is party to the control transaction. The second type of external comparable relates to the use of results of comparable uncontrolled companies engage in comparable transactions while applying profit-based transfer pricing methods, that is TNMM. Again, as we are saying, this is moving towards usage of a database. Typically, such results are identified through use of commercial database, example ProfSIQ or Capline, and the application of screening criteria. The determination of appropriate screening criteria is a critical step because criteria will involve a lot of quantitative filters and qualitative filters. Source of external source of comparables. First is the commercial database, as I said, friends. When we are using TNMM or say CPM, cost plus method for that matter, commercial databases are are required to arrive at the comparables, friends. So say for example, you are having a company for which transfer pricing study needs to be done. The company management may say that yes, a company X or company B are our comparables, but when we are using this TNMM or cost plus method, we need to use database, apply various quantitative filters like say year criteria or turnover criteria or export turnover criteria or employee to turnover ratio, related party transactions. After applying these quantitative filter, lastly we need to apply at qualitative filter to arrive at a final set of comparables. That set of comparables may or may not have company A or B, but that is not wrong, because that is what is the approach followed by the department as well while using the TNMM method. So that approach is acceptable even though your company A or company B, which you thought would be comparable, are not available in the after using the screening process in the database. Directly, company A and B can be used under CUP method, that is comparable uncontrolled price method, friends, wherein for your particular transaction, you feel that company A is doing similar type of transaction, then that scenario you can use upfront that comparable. No need of using a database for getting the comparable companies. Other sources of information are price databases, publications, and listed price for commodities are a few other sources of information wherein like again transfer pricing can be done using these information. Again, we need to consider the authenticity. These database or these information has to be through formal sources. We cannot use informal sources and conclude our TP study. So that one point needs to be checked while using the other sources of information. The twin approaches to identifying potential comparables. So what are the two approaches as we have seen, friends? One is additive approach. In the additive approach, a list of list is prepared of potentially comparable uncontrolled transactions or of third parties which are believed to be carrying out potentially comparable transactions. So here there is no usage of database, but what happens is the company, we have given in the example as well, company X is having annual turnover of rupees 150 crores, and there are 5 competitors A, B, C, D, and E. B is the market leader having a very high turnover of 1800 crores, which company X is rejecting, even though being a competitor, but having such a huge turnover, this can be rejected. So company X is rejecting company B. E earns 90% of its turnover from its holding company. So it has a related party transactions of 15 or more or 25%. So that company is rejected. Now company X itself is rejecting company B and X, and now they are left with company A, C, and D. So these three are the comparable companies for company X using additive approach. So here the company's management itself did the analysis and found out or came to a conclusion that these are comparable companies. The deductive approach is the approach used in database. As I said, friends, for our particular company, which is the industry in which we are using or our company is operating, same industry code or industry classification should be used while using the database like Progress IQ or Capital Line. Friends, please note Progress IQ is again a database which is used by the department and which is accepted by the department. So whenever you're doing a transfer pricing study, it is better to use, when you're using database, it is better to use Progress IQ. Once we select the industry criteria or industry classification, out of total population of say some 40,000 odd companies, will get some certain amount of comparable companies, say 50 companies. Then we can use availability of financial data as first criteria. So say we are doing transfer pricing study for financial year 1920. Which companies out of this 10,000 companies have or say 50 companies which are in our sector has latest available financial data of financial year 1920. So say 10 companies pass through this criterion, then we can use turnover criteria. Here say for example we are using up to 200 crores. So which are the companies Out of these 10 companies are satisfying these the turnover criteria of up to 200 crores. Then criterion for RPT up to 25% of the total transaction. After applying all these quantitative criteria, we are having three companies, that is company B, F, and J. Then comes functional comparability. So we need to do a qualitative analysis and confirm whether the comparable companies which we have got after using the quantitative criteria, whether those are comparable in true sense, qualitatively comparable, or they are functionally different. So this analysis can be done. This analysis would not be available in the database. So we need to go to company's website, the comparable company's website, or see their annual reports. What are they into? And it requires an understanding of what our company is doing vis-a-vis what the comparable companies are doing. If we come to a conclusion the activities or the transactions which is undertaken by our company is more or less similar to the comparable companies transactions, then yes, we can go ahead and finalize those companies as comparable companies. Friends, please note here, our company is doing, say, software development transaction with the associated enterprise. There may be instances comparable company would be into software development along with that software technical consultancy. They may be into ITES. So in such a scenario, we need to see where the major part of the revenue comes from for the comparable companies. If say software development is only 10% and the 90% is from the consultancy as well as the ITES service, then we can reject. But say for example 60 to 65% of the revenue comes from the software development part and the balance 35-40% comes from the other activities, then that company can be taken as a comparable company. Other considerations in using the twin approach: exclusive use of either of the two approaches may not yield valuable results. Depending on facts of each case, one of the above two approaches can be used or both in combination. As a both in combination, meaning like so if we use the database, we got some three companies. Now we need to check who are our competitors and whether those competitors are there in these three companies, or it got rejected while applying a few criteria, maybe quantitative criteria of say turnover or RPT for that matter. So we can do that check and confirm at the end that yes, whatever comparable companies we have got using database are comparable or for the purpose of transfer pricing study. Development of comparable search or screening criteria. The initial search should not over restrictive. Should start with a wide range. So as I said, friends, say for example, you have a transaction of purchase of spare parts from your associated enterprise. So in such a scenario, it is fine to take the population or the industry classification of automobile rather than being specific. So the database will give options of say spare parts, two-wheelers, four-wheelers, all those options would be available in database. But it is always advisable to have a wider population upfront and then reduce that population, or there would be reduction in number of comparable companies by applying quantitative and qualitative criteria. Friends, it is better to have more companies upfront and then arriving at a few set of comparable companies rather than having less companies at start itself. So after applying criteria, we are not left with any comparable companies. So that approach may not work. It is better to have more companies upfront, have a wider range, and then deduce that to our comparable companies by using various quantitative as well as qualitative criteria. Database screening, as I said, friends, first and foremost, primary screening is the industry classification and the industry codes. So that is the first and foremost thing which we need to do, because as I said, friends, Proves contains some 50,000 plus companies. Again, Capitaline database contains 40,000 plus companies. So we cannot keep that entire population as our set of or to find out set of comparable companies. So industry classification, industry code becomes relevant. So we need to confirm what is the industry code in which our company is operating. Same code classification. There can be filtering by classification, prowess and capital, and both gives filtering by classification. So that classification can be used, or filtering can be done through industry wise. Like as I gave an example, ours is a automobile spare part, so we can take automobile industry per se, and then start using the quantitative and qualitative criterias. After primary screening comes a secondary screening. As I said, it involves further screening the financial information relating to the potential comparables. It would be like, say, the products and services, the market it caters, the financial information availability, and then the turnover criteria, or say export criteria. Say, for example, our company is catering only to the associated enterprise in US. Say we are providing software development services to our company in US. So ours is entirely 100%. The revenue is 100% export revenue. So in such a scenario, we can apply a quantitative filter and say that company is having 75% or 50% or more of their turnover through exports. That can be a valid criteria wherein like we can arrive at a companies which are into exports. Say if you are not using this criteria, for example, ours is a 100% export transaction. If we are not using this criteria, the export turnover criteria, we may be left with comparable companies, which yes would be comparable to what we function, but they would be catering to domestic industry only. They would not cater to outside India, because we have not applied that criteria. So this criteria becomes again relevant when we are doing a transfer pricing study, because if for a particular transaction, the company, that is our own company, is having a substantial transaction outside India, or the percentage is more, then applying export turnover criteria becomes paramount. Qualitative or tertiary screening, that is the last screening, is the qualitative one. So after applying all the quantitative criteria, say industry classification, then the financial availability of latest financial data, then the turnover criteria, then export turnover criteria, and then the RPT. So these are like the basics filters which are used. Apart from that, at times we use employee cost to turnover criteria as well, when we want to use or filter more companies, or where the company, for our company, the employee cost is high, we use that as a quantitative filter as well. After applying all these filters, we arrive at companies on which the tertiary screening, that is the qualitative analysis, needs to be done. As I said, friends, qualitative, we need to visit the comparable companies, potential comparable companies website, and confirm what are they into. At times, even annual reports are perused to confirm whether those comparable companies are actually comparable for our company. Interpreting the data. So once we get the comparable company, the final set of comparable companies, then the financial analysis comes into picture. 2 years or 3 years data based on the methods which we used. If again the comparable companies are 6 or more, then range would be used instead of a simple arithmetic mean. And through that, we will arrive at a price. If less than 6, then one particular price. If again the comparable companies are 6 or more than 6, then we will arrive at the range. If ours is falling within that range, the transaction would be justified. If not, then we need to do adjustments. If ours is more than, say for example, we are into software development transaction, and we are earning a net profit under TNMM, we are offering net profit of say 15%, and we got a range of say 10 to 14%, for example. Ours is 15%, the transaction is at arm's length. Say if ours is only 12%, and the range which we have got is 13 to 20%, then yes, our transaction would not be justified to be at arm's length, and we need to do some comparability adjustments, or some transfer pricing adjustments, not the comparability, but the transfer pricing adjustments. Lack of third party comparables. So as I said, friends, if comparable companies are not available in a local market, foreign comparables can be considered. So initially the department also, I mean, when they are doing when they are seeing or examining the transfer pricing study report, foreign comparables generally are perceived not to be considered, because our company is catering or operating in Indian market. Then they may say why foreign comparables are used. But for that, we need to have reasons that yes, we have tried all our means and methods to find comparables which are domestic or which are serving in domestic market. But for the reason where we are not in a position to get the domestic comparables, that's where we have used foreign comparables. Again, the toolkit, preparing documentation again is one of the most expensive compliance costs for MNCs, especially if there are differences in country requirement, increasing the administrative burden. The toolkit addressing a lack of access to comparables for transfer pricing analysis contains a number of useful suggestions. What are those suggestions? We'll see, friends, because there are certain suggestions given by UNTP manual as well as to what should be done in case there are lack of third-party comparables. Government agency can increase the pool of available comparable data. So for example, only companies, the public companies or some set of private companies are mandated to provide their data, their financials or their audit reports to database. So government agencies can increase the pool of available comparable data or come out with a criteria that yes, turnover of 50 crores or more or 100 crores or more, everyone have to upload their data, financials in the database, either be it private company or public limited company. So that can be, that is one of the suggestions provided. Focusing on risk assessment approach that consider the arm's length nature of related party transactions to ensure that scarce audit resources are concentrated on cases most likely to yield results. Again, this seems to be like a threshold for doing a transfer pricing assessment, wherein like if threshold generally in India it is 15 crores or more, wherein like it is mandated for assessing officer to pass on the case to transfer pricing officer for doing transfer pricing assessment. Say for example, if that threshold is 1 crore, major companies will come within the ambit of transfer pricing assessment, which may not solve the purpose because more resources would be required for doing those type of assessments, which may or may not yield results. Suggestions is regarding consideration of safe harbors, fixed margins, or other prescriptive approaches like the advanced pricing agreement, safe harbors. If we are choosing that, there is a clean chit given by the department that no transfer pricing assessment would be carried on if we are showing what is there in the safe harbor margins, or if we are getting into an agreement with the government that yes, I'll be showing this percentage as my operating percentage. Please give me a ruling that this percentage is accepted. So we can take it for current year as well as next 5 years. Also, we can take it for backward 5 years. Rollback is also possible. Another suggestions given in the toolkit is the toolkit of the UN practice manual, friends. Discuss the application of profit split method. So profit split method is a method wherein like no databases are used, and it is entirely a subjective method wherein like we consider say the role of each and every enterprise in the entire gamut of transactions, what functions each and every enterprise is doing, what is the cost involved. Basis those functions and cost, there is a split of profit. So again, it says where there are more than 3-4 entities are involved in a particular transactions, we need to see transaction holistically and then confirm whether we can use profit split method or not. Then again, there are usage of consideration of cooperative compliance approaches in appropriate cases as a means of helping tax administrations to access industry information which may otherwise be difficult to obtain. Use of anti-avoidance measures as a backstop to transfer pricing rules in the most particular cases or those where there is high risk of systematic abuse. These are the suggestions which are provided in the toolkit. Our suggestions wherein like where there are third party comparables which are less available, While performing the skinning process, due importance should be given for going concern testing rather than a gone concern, because that again is paramount in terms of comparability. It is a safer practice to recheck the figures of potential comparables identified. So whatever comparable companies you are getting from database, it is better to check the financial figures from the MCA website or annual reports, just to confirm that whatever data which is keyed in the database is matching with the authenticated or authorized documents. Usage of codes or cost benefit analysis under any other method can be tried out. Friends, again a suggestion wherein, like, if TNMM or CPM or database cannot be used, we are not getting any third party comparables, it is better to use any other method. Say for example, there is a purchase of capital goods from outside India. Customs valuation is one thing which can be used. We can use excess earning method. So the cost of getting the capital goods was X. Now with that capital goods being used, what is the revenue which we are expecting in next 5 years or 10 years, whatever be the life of that capital goods, discounting that to current the rate of borrowing for that particular entity. So as of today, we will get we will get five to for next 5 to 10 years, we would get a certain amount of turnover. If we discount that to present value, we will get X number. Whether that X number is more than the cost which we have paid for purchasing that capital goods, this can be one of the approach for justifying a transaction, that yes, whatever we have paid, we are recovering that in the life of that capital goods. Usage of codes. So say for example, there are no comparability transactions, but we can get a quote for, say, we have purchased something which is a very, we have purchased something from our associated enterprise which is not being transacted. Again, TNMM is not possible to justify the transaction. Such a scenario, we can get a quote from another vendor wherein we can ask them what would be the rate they would charge for these much for these orders or for these type of products or goods. You can use that as well under any other method. Again, at the end, I would like to conclude saying that when we are using screening process, that is using TNMM, it is fine to use comparables even though absolute comparability is not possible. I always cite this example: an apple can be compared to an orange as long as both are fruits. So if they are falling within the category of fruits, it's fine if at all it's an apple or an orange. So absolute comparability is not paramount in TNMM method. Yes, it is 100% required in comparable uncontrolled price method, but not in TNMM. So as I gave an example, ours is a transaction of software development, but it's fine if the comparable companies is doing multiple transactions and one of the major activities performed is software development. That company may not be absolute comparable, but it is still a comparable under TNMM method. So keep this thing in mind while using TNMM method. So these were some of our thoughts on the comparability and analysis under UNTP manual. Any questions, would be happy to answer, friends. Thank you, friends.